Ashley Horgan, and I am a co-chair for this year's event. So again, we're pleased to have you here. I just want to do a few thank yous. Thank you to Borsheims for presenting us with Julia Knight. And then also thank you to National Republic Beverage for the wine on the table. And then we also have the chocolates donated from C's Candy. So we're very appreciative of those donations. I also want to thank all of our committee members, and this is where I make our committee members stand. Committee members, please stand. Okay, we have some shy committee members, but they did an outstanding job putting this together. So Emily Wells, recently married, is going to introduce Julia Knight.
All right, well, I thought a lot about what I would say when I introduced Julia, and it kind of made me think about what I do every day, which is I work in a very creative industry, and I always find the very best creative folks are the ones where their expression of their talent and their creativity show in a lot of different ways. And Julia is definitely one of those people. After graduating from Brown University, she set off for Paris, and she then did a 10-year tour of duty in the marketing and the cosmetics industry, both Revlon and Estee Lauder. From there, she channeled her creativity into a boutique of organic frozen baby food, which I find so very interesting. And then next for her came babies of her own. And while she was raising her children, she served as a CEO coach for emerging enterprises. And then in 2001, Julia's creativity surfaced yet again as she began designing home accessories. Now we're nearly 10 years later. It's a multi-million enterprise, and her business is expected to double this year alone. So, with such a track record of success and creativity, tonight's presentation, 5 Minutes to Fabulous, should be nothing short of fabulous, I'm sure. So, on behalf of the entire Wine and Cheese Committee, I'm happy to introduce Julia Knight.
Hello everyone, and what a fabulous day. I have to say, I've been looking forward to this for a number of reasons. I love Omaha, although I did not get to go to Old Town this time, so I'm a little bit disappointed. I love Borsheims. They are our favorite account in the country, and now we have almost 600 of them, and so that's saying a lot. And this is a really beautiful event. You should be very proud of what you've accomplished here. I've co-chaired a number of events, some wonderful, some not. So I know what it takes, and you did a really splendid job, and it's a beautiful day. So thank you. I love food. I do. I love food. I mean, I already ate 3 chocolates, half the thing of the cheese tray, and that was after a wonderful lunch. Let me ask you this: is it too loud? Everything's good? Okay. And I love entertaining, and this is that time of year where it all starts kind of bubbling up, and we're all getting kind of excited. I mean, I'm looking at the table setting at lunch and thinking, tassels, what a great idea, and what am I going to be making for the holidays, and who am I going to be inviting, and how many parties could I possibly have? And all of that imagining and anticipation is really wonderful until they get a little closer. And then you start thinking, really? I'm doing it at my house again? Why doesn't my brother ever invite everyone over? And how come I've got, Aunt Elma coming? And so you start to get a little bit more anxious, and you start to think about, what are we going to do for the holidays? And when I used to entertain early on in my marriage, it was very exciting for me, all of the planning and the anticipation, but when it came to actually preparing things, I thought that to be the best hostess, I had to make the most complicated meal possible. So, I don't know, does anyone remember the Silver Palette cookbook? There was, I would thumb through there, trying to find veal tenderloins with a pink peppercorn sauce and candied lime rinds. That's the one. And so I would set off into this whole extravaganza. and people would show up, and by then it had taken not just hours, but probably days to make the meal. And I was getting a little cranky, and then I was wondering why my husband really didn't do more to help. And by the time it was over, my husband was like, you know, why are you doing this? I mean, you say you love entertaining, but really when it comes right down to it, this is a little more stressful and doesn't look as much fun as you make it out to be. So he said, you know what, they're not coming here for the food. They're coming here to be with us. Because if they were coming for the food, we'd be going out for dinner. And they could pick what they wanted to eat. I mean, really, entertaining is not about the food. So I started to think, well then, what is it? What is it that I get so excited about? And what is it that's so important to me? And I realized that to me, it's the emotion of hospitality. That I just love to have people over. And that I want them to know that this was important to me, that it's special, that I went all out for them, that it really is in the same kind of tradition that they have in the Middle East, you know, the honored guest, and that you do whatever you can to make that person at home comfortable and know that they are welcome and special, and you're doing it with a lot of love. So I thought, well then maybe it really isn't about the food. Maybe it's really not about this very complicated preparation. Maybe it's about the presentation. You know, maybe people could come over and just the sound of a champagne bottle popping the cork makes it so that they know you've taken that extra step. Okay, it's not the Dixie cups. I mean, you're doing something special. I was, of course, very happy when I discovered Prosecco, because with the amount that we serve when we're entertaining, that Veuve Clicquot can get a little pricey. So, Prosecco, wonderful, bubbly, sparkly, makes people feel like you've done something really special for them. And I had always had this kind of, as I went through life, this little collection of different bowls and platters, and none of them matched, and I thought that was very wonderful and charming, and I still love that. But after 23 years of marriage, it kind of starts to look like a big mishmash of things, okay? And it wasn't quite as charming as I thought. And so I had like the pottery from Italy and this from Portugal and the Moroccan tagines, and I thought I would love to find a way to design something that allows me to be versatile and creative and ever-changing, something that I could one day do Thanksgiving and the next day do, you know, a Sweet 16 party, and have it really be fun and an expression of me. And I realized, you know, it's not really just about making beautiful food, because that was the thing that was making me crazy. I mean, I remember the time I made these little phyllo kisses, goat cheese kisses. Did anyone see that recipe? It's like, they're like this big. And so layers and layers of phyllo, a little dollop of goat cheese. Then you twist it up, you brush it with butter, and you bake them. Okay. People have to eat like 20 of them at once. They're very, very easy. And then people would eat 20 of them at once, and I'm like, you should be savoring this. You need to slow down. You know how long it took me to make those 20? So I'm like, this whole beautiful food thing is not working for me. So how can I make it look beautiful? And I realized that it was through the presenting, through the platters, through the dishes that I could use, and I set off to design this collection. So you're getting a little peek at it, and many of you, I'm very delighted to find, have seen us at Borsheims, where we have a very wonderful display that features probably everything that we make at this point, which is almost 800 SKUs. I know, Julie, it adds up, doesn't it? But But what I wanted was something that drew from nature and from the things that I love, like grape leaves. We have a lily bowl that is fashioned after a stargazer lily, which is my favorite flower. We have a collection called the Peony Collection, which is in remembrance of my grandmother, and peonies were her favorite flower. And then coincidentally, we moved into our home in the dead of winter, and spring came to a row of about 55 peony bushes. So all of these things kind of tied back together for me, and I started designing in aluminum. And aluminum is this magical material because it'll turn into anything you want. Each of our pieces is individually handmade. We pour the molten aluminum into a mold, and when it cools down, we unearth it. It looks like a big black rock, not very attractive, but after 10 or 15 buffing and polishing steps, it's starting to look pretty good. And then the magic comes where we take this enamel, that's kind of like an old jewelry technique. It's a cloisonné enamel technique. And we take the enamel and we crush mother of pearl powder. So the inside of the shells that are found on the southern coast of India are crushed into a powder and swirled into this enamel, and then they're finger painted on. And it makes for just this wash of color that is texture without being a pattern, and the colors that are possible are really infinite. And we have quite a few of them already. I'd say we've probably done over 20 colors since I started doing this, and have somehow narrowed it down to 15. So each of these colors can be layered upon layer, so that maybe first in the spring you have kiwi, which is a really fresh spring green, and then in the fall maybe you buy a piece of saffron, which is a deep, kind of like a Tuscan yellow, and then you put those together and now it looks like Thanksgiving harvest. So it's a way to really make it your own. And people ask me, well, what do you serve now? And I'm pretty much like, whatever happened to be in the refrigerator or the freezer that day. So I have a way of keeping a few things. I bet you didn't know you could freeze goat cheese. It's one of these great things where you can just freeze a lot of goat cheese and kind of whack it in half, and keep some pesto sauce, swirl in a couple of teaspoons of that, pop it into the microwave, and just call it a warm chevre, you know. So I always have a few little things like that, and I put them out, and people just think, oh my God, you slaved all day. And I'm like, I know, but I did it for you. And so I thought I might close by sharing with you a little TV clip so you can see I did something, I've done different shows on morning news shows to show what I call 5 minutes to fabulous. And then I'll take any questions if you have them. It will be available afterwards to speak with you. We do have a special event going on at Borsheims tomorrow from 11 till 2. I'll be there signing things. And you might wonder how I'm going to sign these because they're metal. But does anyone here get their nails done? Just one or two of you. Okay, I know. These are real too. But so it's a drill that has a little diamond dust on the tip, and I can actually write in script and engrave with it. So I can personalize pieces or write a message to a daughter or a mom or for a wedding. So I'll be doing that tomorrow at Borsheims, but we also have some pieces that Borsheims brought over here if anybody wants me to do that for them here. So I think we'll just hit it with the TV clip, and then I'll be available if you have any questions. But thank you so much. I really enjoyed being here.